3 years ago, you and I embarked on a journey to reclaim the city that we love, to prove to the world that Miami Beach was coming back better than ever, and to show ourselves that when we pull together, there's nothing we cannot dream, nothing we cannot do to make living here safer, better, and more complete. 3 years ago, when I first took office, the state of our city was compromised by a government that stopped listening, that turned a blind eye to what wasn't working and wasn't right. Our streets were flooding on sunny days. Our parks were not clean. Traffic was getting worse. Our police department was mismanaged. Government was known more for delay and excuses than for acts of courage, competence, and customer service. As someone who spent almost his entire career building companies and creating jobs in the private sector, I ran for mayor pledging to change the way our city does business. Together, we said, we are one city, one community, one Miami Beach. Today, I'm proud to report that the state of our city is stronger, healthier, and more resilient than ever, because you and I drew a line in the sand. Because you and I decided mediocrity would no longer be tolerated or excuses for delay accepted. Because you and I determined that analysis paralysis would be replaced by acts of achievement. Pettiness would be replaced with principles. Politics would be replaced with purpose. That we wouldn't leave for tomorrow what we could and should do today. That when it came to doing the right thing for each other and for our city, nothing would stand in our way. Because no government, federal, state, or local, has the right to deny us the power of these 3 words: we, the people. 3 words that have driven a positive, progressive, and inclusive transformation of our city. A city that believes in itself and its ability to just get it done. So I present to you today the state of the city, your city, grounded in accomplishments that reflect the best in all of us. Our story begins at the water's edge in a race against sea level rise that respects no boundaries, that doesn't care if you're liberal or conservative, Republican or Democrat, man, woman, or child. For 3 years, we have shown the world that this is a race we intend to win by replacing flooded streets with dried ones. Although coastal cities throughout and beyond Florida face the same challenges from nature, Miami Beach has become ground zero in this battle. People around the world are watching, whether they acknowledge or deny climate change, because too many lives, too much property, and too much future is at stake to ignore this global threat any longer. Like Franklin Delano Roosevelt told every American in the depths of the Depression, we need action, and action now. So we pushed politics to the side, rolled up our sleeves, and got to work. We installed pumps throughout the city with many more to come, built seawalls, raised streets, and reformed building codes to protect what we have and what's ahead. As we remain vigilant and aggressive about upgrading our stormwater systems to reduce pollutants from entering our bays and ocean. Indian Creek Drive from 25th Street to 41st Street was once an impassable road during king tides. Today, we're in the process of raising Indian Creek, including higher seawalls and a new pump station. In the western part of our island, facing Biscayne Bay, we continue raising roads and installing pump stations there. We've addressed flooding on Crespi Boulevard, Lower North Bay Road, West Avenue, the Venetian Islands, and Sunset 3 and 4. Projects underway include Palm Island and Central Bayshore, among many more. So every part of our city is protected. We are fixing stormwater infrastructure at 34th Street and South Point, and have begun a seawall rehabilitation program citywide. These efforts and others have captured national and international attention and have been featured in 2 climate change documentaries. Academy Award winner Leonardo DiCaprio's Before the Flood, and more recently, National Geographic's Years of Living Dangerously. We've made these accomplishments together with shared sacrifice and a commitment to invest for the future, regardless of political consequence. I am tremendously proud of our city for this achievement and everyone responsible for making it happen. Second, we finally begun to get our city moving again, literally, by making traffic congestion and reduction a priority, a real priority, knowing that doing nothing would risk our quality of life here as much as anything else. To do that, we've created a new master plans for bicycle, commercial, and pedestrian traffic to ensure flow and safety, knowing that it all must work in concert if it's to work at all. Because when siloed by self-interest, it compromises the bigger interest of the entire city. Specifically, I'm pleased to report the following advances. A free trolley system is fully underway to serve every part of the city, including the North Beach Trolley, the recent additions of a Mid Beach Trolley and Collins Link Loop, and soon a South Beach Trolley. So you can travel from the city's up-and-coming North Beach area to South Beach with no hassle and no fare. We've initiated a 1-year water taxi pilot service to connect Miami Beach with the city of Miami, with service points located at Purdy Dock, Bayfront Park, Miami Beach Marinas, and the Sea Isle Marina. To maximize traffic flow at different times of the day and during special events, we've modified signal timing and lane closures to keep things moving in times of high volume, accidents, and construction, and have 4 road rangers on duty to help people when they're in trouble. To show our commitment to bicycle safety, we are well on our way to painting every bike lane in the city with the national standard green reflective color that drivers cannot miss, and have plans to install protected bike lanes on certain key streets. There's overwhelming public support for a traffic-relieving light rail connection between Miami and Miami Beach, Baylink. We got the process started with environmental studies and public input. But I want to make it clear that we will only proceed if the following conditions are met. 1, that Miami-Dade County commits to the link. 2, that the project has been thoroughly vetted regarding finances and the environment. And 3, that the final decision rests with the residents of Miami Beach through a citywide referendum to decide whether to move forward or not. Because if you ever stop listening to those you serve only yourself. Third, after some troubling times and in the name of safety, we moved quickly to restore professionalism and esteem within the Miami Beach Police Department and in the relationship between law enforcement and the communities they serve. Without mutual respect and trust, you forfeit cooperation and compromise safety. And safety, to me, is the most important function of government. We started by recruiting and hiring a nationally renowned police chief and deputy police chief, whose commitment to excellence, service, and diversity were second to none. We also made many changes in the command staff and to the culture of the department. I believe, like in so many organizations, the speed of the leader determines the rate of the pack. Responsibility begins at the top, and we made sure the Miami Beach Police Department was strong, responsive, and transparent from top to bottom. That's why this past year our police department successfully implemented an expansion of professional development and training for all officers, 4 times as much training as before, to ensure they are not only among the best in their profession, but also more responsive to those they serve. That's why this past year we expanded the use of body cameras to improve accountability and ensure transparency. 150 cameras are now employed, and 100 more are on the way. And that's why, in response to the White House's Police Data Initiative, we are using data and technology better than ever to serve as an early warning system to identify situations before anyone's put in harm's way. Keeping you safe and how we keep you safe remains my #1 priority around the clock. This leads to another issue bearing on safety, the public's health. And on that front, the residents of this city came up big when we had to in combating the threat posed by the Zika virus. It threatened our tourism, endangered expectant moms, and challenged our confidence in our community's ability to fight back. Together with Mayor Jimenez and other regional leaders, I went to Washington seeking funding to combat the virus, and to the CDC in Atlanta to confer with some of the top disease-fighting experts on the planet. Simultaneously, and in sync with those experts, we work with the county to implement aggressive mosquito eradication methods, strong code enforcement, and resilient landscaping that won't allow water to collect and mosquitoes to breed. When public health is at risk, making the best decision is not always easy or popular. So I decided early on that if, God forbid, I ever met a Miami Beach mother whose child was born with microcephaly, I could look her in the eyes and say I did everything in my power to stop the transmission of this virus. Today, our city is Zika-free. But because Miami Beach is an international destination with a subtropical climate, we must do everything we can to minimize the chance it could return. Earlier this year, the city of Miami Beach made headlines for another act of our community's courage. We passed a minimum living wage the first ever by any municipality in the state of Florida. To be phased in over 4 years, it declares to the world that everyone who works hard deserves a working wage. A wage they can live on, one that enables them to feed their families, one that allows them to live closer to work to avoid long commutes, and one that honors Americans' belief in fairness, goodness, and equality. The fairness comes in when you consider the higher cost of living in Miami Beach versus nearly every other city in Florida. It just isn't fair when the minimum wage is the same in Miami Beach as it is in Tallahassee, where it is much less expensive to live. Just like the marketplace determines pricing in the real world, we should allow common sense to determine minimum wages in our world. Now I know that the governor and others are going to do everything they can to stop us from implementing this new law. They believe Tallahassee and only Tallahassee should make the call. This defiance of local control is not only wrong, but it also represents a kind of economic bigotry that favors the haves over the have-nots. Those who have made it versus those just trying to make it through the day. As a businessman who built a successful company from $500 in a dream, I know that's something that politicians never will. That when you respect workers enough to pay them their fair wage, morale is strong, motivation is a given, business grows, and the entire community benefits. When it comes to fighting for workers' rights, balanced by the need for businesses to succeed and create jobs, Miami Beach has taken the lead for cities across Florida. Speaking about creating jobs, after too many years of studies and analysis, stops and starts, I'm proud to report that we're well on our way to completing a world-class, state-of-the-art convention center, one whose style and design fits the unique personality of our city. The new convention center will attract national and international conferences. It will be surrounded by new public spaces that improve walkability and are more connected to the city's cultural and tourist attractions. It will also feature a new, nearly 6-acre Veterans Park to the west, replacing a concrete parking lot with green space that honors those who served our nation. Although the proposed convention center hotel referendum received a majority of the vote, it did not reach the new 60% threshold as required. Nevertheless, I am confident a revised hotel concept with significant public input will receive even greater support in the future. This much we know. Every time a convention comes to town, it brings with it hundreds or thousands of tourists, many for the first time, who stay in our hotels, eat at our restaurants, and patronize our local businesses. That's not only good for the economy, but it's good for the soul, as it reinforces why more than 92,000 residents are proud to call Miami Beach their home. By being a true center of creative collaboration, Miami Beach will remain among the most talked about, most admired, and most loved cities on earth. Beyond our efforts at controlling flooding, reducing traffic, ensuring a fair wage, and enhancing public safety, health, and tourism, I want to acknowledge additional advances we've made across the board in big ways and small in the way our city looks, performs, and is run. Our beaches are cleaner, and we're working with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers on a multi-million-dollar sand renourishment program. This initiative will restore sections of our beaches and make them more resilient in the face of hurricanes and tropical storms. We've also made great progress in creating a unified and continuous beach walk for everyone to enjoy. Our green space are also in better shape than they've been for years, with new palms and shrubs planted on 41st Street, on the 5th Street flyover, and Alton Road median. We're feeling better because our city's looking better. We've already made major advances in responding to residents' questions and needs by instituting mobile apps to report problems and pay for available parking through their smartphones. Now we've re-engineered the city's infrastructure control room so that the residents of this city can report problems after hours with an expectation that city staff will respond. And that's not all. There's North Beach, an area chronically underserved and underappreciated that's becoming one of the new pearls of Miami Beach. A recently approved master plan will revitalize the area with historic preservation, more parks, vibrant neighborhoods, and the creation of a town center. To preserve the quality of life in residential neighborhoods, we also have new zoning that stops the relentless spread of oversized McMansions and tough new prohibitions against short-term rentals. Both negatively impact the character and quality of our neighborhoods. Lincoln Road, the shopping gem of Miami Beach, will soon undergo a major overhaul as part of a master plan to revitalize this historic pedestrian landmark. just like a new master plan for Washington Avenue will do for one of our city's best-known thoroughfares. And talking about Washington Avenue, it's heartening to see that Ciclovia has been a great success there, allowing bikers, pedestrians, and joggers to enjoy this amazing street without cars. Espanola Way, Miami Beach's first commercial street, and on the National Register of Historic Places, is currently undergoing a major overhaul. Miami Beach is also committed to providing for its most senior residents, improving the quality of their lives through special activities, from the senior choir to movies, theater, and holiday events. Being a top international entertainment destination also comes with challenges. Ocean Drive, the iconic street known around the world for its Art Deco hotels and cafes, needed immediate reform to bring it back to its best by making it safer and more resident-friendly. To that end, we are implementing an aggressive 10-point plan, which includes additional security, making sidewalks more pedestrian-friendly, and stopping customer hawking. There's no reason why Ocean Drive can't be a bright part of our future for both residents and visitors to enjoy. Today, Miami Beach is better, healthier, and more prosperous, with a city government that's more responsive and driven to serve. And we've done all this without raising property taxes. In fact, this past year, we lowered the property tax rate to the lowest millage rate in recorded history in our city. It also reflects my belief that when you empower people with resolve, motivate people with respect, and reassure people with remarkable results, everything is possible. Everything is doable. Everything. You know me. Just get it done. For the past 3 years, this has been our credo, our mantra, our rallying cry. That helps explain why the United States Conference of Mayors picked Miami Beach as the host city for its 85th annual meeting this summer. I will be proud to show off our city to more than 250 mayors from around the country. That also explains why the Rockefeller Foundation has designated Miami Beach as one of America's most resilient cities. Cities revered for innovative leadership, cities known as catalysts for change, cities with a variety of stakeholders who are willing to work towards common ground in pursuit of a common cause. I am so proud of city staff, our city commissioners, our city manager, Jimmy Morales, and the people of Miami Beach for meriting this incredible honor and for giving me the honor of serving as the mayor. No words can express the gratitude I feel for the support you've given this city and given me. More than 25 years ago, I made Miami Beach my home, as well as my headquarters for a very successful business in the cruise industry, a business that started in a studio apartment above the News Cafe on Ocean Drive. Nearly 4 years ago, I decided it was time to devote myself to the service of others, so I ran for mayor to improve the lives and fortunes of the people of Miami Beach by reforming and leading a government that listened more, responded more, and did more to make Miami Beach a city that works for its people. It also improved the morale of our city employees and getting the job done. These years have been the greatest of my life, personally and professionally, and I have you, the people of Miami Beach, to thank for that. Today, as I enter the final year of my second term, I want you to know it will also be my last. Almost every major objective I've envisioned for our city is either in motion, planned, or been accomplished. And as an entrepreneur who likes to get things done, I believe in the power of fresh ideas and fresh leadership, that change and evolution are both healthy and necessary. Rest assured, for the remainder of my final term, I will continue finding ways to improve the lives of the residents of Miami Beach, knowing that the activist community who gave me a PhD in the process will help carry the dream forward. As for me, I intend to explore new avenues for the future to learn how I can best serve both our community and our state. To support those willing to protect our lands, our coastline, and our environment against interests whose actions imperil them all. To give our children a chance to compete with schools devoted to excellence and teachers committed to delivering it. To giving working Floridians a fair wage. To make Florida a leader in the 21st century world economy based on innovation, investment, and daring. And to give voice to those who've been silenced or left behind. Because we're in this together, all of us. During Miami Beach's historic centennial concert, a celebration for the ages, Gloria Estefan, a Cuban immigrant, sang one of her greatest hits, whose message rang true throughout our city. Her refrain, "Get on your feet. Get up and make it happen. Get on your feet. Stand up and take some action." For the past 3 years, the city of Miami Beach pulled together, got on their feet, and took some action to fundamentally change the course of the future. Today, that future, like the sun above, shines bright. And in my final months in office as your mayor, I promise to do what I've always have done and give you and this city everything I've got.